Let's talk about your average relationship. I know you are sick of them, you had enough of it, and you want to change it, or you're thinking how to change it. Is it possible? Is it still possible? Well, because you didn't create your self relationship, you created you and your wife, right? So you blended together and became a family. So, in that sense, it will require two opinions, two people to agree to do the same thing over and over again. I'll show you something that you will realize what you're doing with your lives. Because even though you're educated and you seem like smart people and doing smart things, but when it comes to relationship, you average or even below average. For very simple reasons, because you didn't dig deep into that area. You didn't read enough books. You didn't observe or didn't consult with people who are successful in a relationship, where a man takes the role as a leader in a house and takes good care of his wife and makes her happy by being nice to her, being kind and helpful and caring and sympathetic. But I'll show you something what you're doing to your relationship that you realize, and every time you would want to do this, you will think because of this example. So every time you're nice in your relationship, because in the beginning you had beautiful relationship, you took care of each other, you made in love as much as you wanted, it wasn't a problem. But then gradually, as I already spoke in my other videos, started to diminish for very simple reason. You started to get complacent and started to practice the word no, or do it yourself, or I don't feel like. This is what's happening. Every time you're nice to each other, every time you look after each other, every time you give time to each other and being sympathetic and caring and listening and contributing in conversation, this is what you're doing. You're igniting the fire in your relationship, and the fire is burning. You are happy, your hearts are melting, you're starting to buy gifts, you're going out to restaurants for food. But then, one day you come back from work, you're not in a mood, and you say, go and do yourself. Or if he or she wants to make love, you say, I don't feel like, I don't want. And this is what happens. Watch closely. Every time you say no, this fire goes off, right? Every single time. You're killing your love. You're killing your emotions. It's like this smoke. It's like a vapor. It disappears. So your love every time disappears, melting, diminishing. And this is what's gonna happen. Every time you are nice, again, you're igniting the fire, right? So the fire again burning in your hearts. You're loving each other. You seem like happier because you don't argue, because you look after each other. And again, without realizing what you're doing, you get up in the morning and you're not kind, you're not listening to each other. You're just like, oh, I don't want to talk about it, just go to work and just being not nice. And that's what you're done, you just quench the fire again. And what's happening? More often you do that in your heart, because that you develop some kind of feeling that you had enough of it. And you feel like you're in a rat race that seems like you don't fight, you live like simple lives, everything, bills are paid, and you have enough money, or maybe more than enough, but there is no connection with each other. You lost connection. You don't talk anymore as you used to do, because every time you talk, you have different opinions. So you clash. The moment you clash, the division happens in your hearts. You're no longer one. That means you separate. You two entities living in one house under one roof, having things doing together, like, going to work, bringing up children, but you have no connection with each other. So that's why, unless you go back, I like what the Bible says. When I think in the New Testament, when it says in the letters of apostles that Jesus says 7 letters to the churches, that go back to, one of the churches says, go back to your first love, where you fall off, where you turn your path different direction, where you start to argue, where this came, I don't want. do it yourself. I don't feel like. You go to nightclubs separately. You go with your pals, she goes with her friends. And you hardly ever do things together. Even though when you do, you don't feel like you don't much enjoy, because there is no emotion involved, because you are separate, because the big walls, Roman wall is built between you and your wife. Why? Because you're not communicating, because you have no this sort of like communication, like when you say whatever you feel like, and the other person like listens and say something positive to inspire, to appreciate, to to say something that will make you feel better. It doesn't matter whether you would talk to whether your wife would talk and you would say something toward to make her happier, or she would do towards you, because you would take care of each other and you be always nice to each other. That means your flame will always would burn and would make your hearts warm, meaning the good feelings, the warm feelings always would be present in your hearts. You would express more actions toward each other. Your sex would be much more passionate. But because you neglected, you can't live how you want and have crazy relationship, really nice relationship. You can't have that. You can't just do what you want, how you feel like, and not take responsibility or consequences for your actions. If you're not nurturing, you're destroying your relationship. You want go from average to next level, it will take next level actions to go back to where you came from, when you started in the beginning, when you really had no problem to look after each other, talk and dream about future, how you wish to be together, how you wish to have children together. And now you have all that and you're not happy. Because now your opinion's changing, now your attitude's changing, now you're clashing, now you're arguing, now nothing to talk about. So you go to your pals and talk to them rather than to your wife, because now you talk to her, she says, stop being a woman, stop being like a simp, or sort of like a weak man that cries. And there are women that say like that. So you can't be vulnerable with your wife because she doesn't support you. She doesn't know how to support you. If she hasn't got anything, listen, wife, if you don't have anything wise to say to your husband, at least listen and show that you're listening really and care about him. That will be helpful alone, rather than saying stupid things. This is your man, you have children with him. And I'll tell you more. If you want to change your average relationship, if you don't agree, both of you, to do the same thing every day, love each other, take care of each other, learn to talk again, learn to make sex, good sex with emotions, not to lie like a plank on a bed, but put effort. Be nice to each other, be kind. I know it hurts. I know you already had enough and everything is average, is monotonic, and is no spice in the relationship. It's gone. Well, if both of you agree to do the same thing, you will ignite that fire like I did with the candle. It's gonna happen this. When you come home, you will say like that. Watch this. You will say, sweetheart, how was your day? How do you feel? Do you know, I was thinking about you today, and I really want to make you happy. I forget myself because I know that you will take care of me well. But tell me what things you would like that we would start working on to make our relationship better. I know I didn't give you gifts. I didn't give you enough time. I know you want quality time. You like when we talk with a cup of coffee and just me and you talk. Why not? Why not to take time and start developing conversation? Because I'll tell you what, the conversation will blend you like this. Your sex will be good, a crazy sex. Then your life, you will be happy because you will be texting each other, saying, nice, I miss you. I'm looking forward to see you tonight. It's gonna be absolutely fantastic relationship if you start putting effort like this, saying things, nice things. And when you talk, you listen and contribute in the conversation. Why live average relationship? Because you going downhill. Whether 10, 15, 25, 30 years, I'm telling you, one of you will find someone and you replace, whether husband or wife. It doesn't matter. You will replace. And if you live for so many years average relationship, at the end of your life you will say, I should have tried. This woman or this whatever colleague at work, she badly wanted me. She was so kind, she was so sweet, but I was faithful to my wife. And I lived all my life. I now regret spending my years in what? In misery. But I'm telling you, most of the time people don't live like this. They probably have, if they're staying together, they have a little bit more heat than cold. But when coldness in their hearts takes over the warmth, that their negativity takes over the positive things they do towards each other, they going downhill fast, like in a 6th gear. And they will not last. They will sort of like, you should be divorcing. If you don't want to change anything, just be straight. If you don't want to change anything, you should be divorcing today. Just get things right, sell the house, whatever, and just start from the beginning with somebody who really you want to really make a life different. But I'm telling you, if you apply the same attitude that you have today, you're not helpful, you're not committed, you're not like giving, caring, loving, sympathetic, your next relationship will be the same. In the beginning, it's going to be a roller coaster. You're going to take to restaurants. You're going to go on holiday, especially if you have more money. And then it's going to go downhill because your attitude will dictate your behavior. Because you're like emotionally you're excited because you met a new woman and she seems canny and like fantastic, the woman of your dreams. But slowly you go into life, daily routine. And that routine, if you haven't got the right attitude, it will suck you in, it will like squash you and spit you out. And you're gonna realize, well, she is the same as my ex, maybe a little bit better. It's not about that, it's about your attitude. If you're gonna be helpful, loving, caring, giving, sympathetic, sit down, take time with each other, talk, whatever you want, dreams, desires, how you feel, and support each other, say nice things to each other, be contributing all the time. 100% you will succeed, you will change your relationship. There is no way that you wouldn't change your relationship. It is impossible. If you're contributing every single day, sitting, taking time with each other, even for 10 minutes with a cup of coffee, let's have our 10-minute cup of coffee time. Why don't you call a cup of coffee time? Switch that stupid telly and give time to yourself. And you will see how quickly these mountains of ice starts melting. You will melt that ice with your time sitting together and talking about anything. How you started, how you were happy. And now is the time to do the same. Once you start doing the same thing, talking to each other, looking at each other's eyes, and saying things, and appreciating, saying thank you for being patient up to this point when you neglected your duty, being kind, helpful, sympathetic, and caring and everything. Do it. If you can't agree, divorce. Don't waste time. Don't live like this. Don't be like a muppet that you're not happy and you still, I have a house, I have this. Shit this house. Just walk away, sell it, whatever, and start a new life. Because there is more in life that you can experience. Happiness and, live a happy, stress-free life. Be like really live fulfilling life and have a partner or wife or husband that you're really connected. So you would, go through life not like average people, but people who taking everything what life has to offer. You know, when people get sick, they start noticing the flowers along the road. They notice the leaves on the trees, how beautiful trees are, how nature is beautiful. You don't need to get sick to appreciate that. Start learning today. Go together for a walk and just appreciate time together. Grab each other's hand and say, I love you, even though your heart is cold. But you making now new steps to get where you fall short, where when you did in the beginning, when you crazy in love, and now you scatter that love, you quench that love, and now is the time to ignite the love again. Do it what I say, and you will see how things will start changing. But if you can't agree, divorce and start a new life.